I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, putting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! We need some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, putting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! We need some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Oh, cerveza más fina. We're going to drink the Corona, the Yahweh. It's Cinco de Mayo. Happy 5th of May. What a creative name for a holiday. What do you want to name your holiday? Oh, we want to name it the 5th of May. What day do you want to have it on? We want to have it on the 5th of May. Okay. That's sounds good. All right. We'll do that. It's Cinco de Mayo today. So we're going to read a little bit about what Cinco de Mayo is. And we got other stuff too. We're going to talk about these impeachment articles. What's this dude's name? Siri Thanadar. No, his name is more like... Wait, hold on. Thank you. Come again. Siri Thanadar. My name is Siri Thanadar. Some guy in Michigan. Michigan's a mess. Bringing 7 new articles of impeachment against Trump. Hold on, I'm just opening all my tabs up. What up, Abe Dinkus? How art thou? I am fine. Hold on, first I need to... I guess I should, share this out and stuff. Don't switch. Give me one moment. Wait, that's not right. Did I do the wrong thumbnail? Is my thumbnail... Does not my thumbnail not have any Is my thumbnail just a picture? No, it's the right thumbnail. What the heck? Give me 1 second. The impeachment stuff, we're going to talk about Tesla. Earlier this week, they said that Tesla was trying to oust Elon, and apparently that was fake news. What else? The left is eating each other. So we're going to talk about the Dean and Parker Unf America tour situation, the microaggression, as well as Sam Seder openly supporting Hamas, Ethan Klein, Vs Hassan, Dean, Parker, Sam. The left is eating itself. The left is crumbling. We thought they crumbled before, after the election. Oh, they're crumbling now. They're losing their dang minds. All that stuff. And then at the end of the show, I tried to keep the news stories short so we could actually have time to do the last little segment. We're going to talk about a concept known as Sensus Divinitatis. Sensus Divinitatis, which means a sense of the divine, which I heard of actually as a argument for God. If you're ever debating with an atheist, it's an argument for God. But then when I was doing the research on it for the show, I found out that it was something that Calvin came up with. Chalk it up. Another thing I agree with that guy on, but I don't know anything about that guy. I just know that I tend to agree with him on stuff. But we'll talk about the sense of the divine. Why I don't think you have to be a Calvinist to believe that we have Sensus Divinitatis. Sensus Divinitatis. Hold on, I'm just getting all this stuff ready. Okay. All right, so first up, though, it is Cinco de Mayo today. What is Cinco de Mayo? We're just going to look at some Wikipedia real quick. I think we've done shows. Is Cinco de Mayo always on a Monday? No, it's always on the 5th. The 5th is not always a Monday. This might be the first show that we've had on a Cinco de Mayo. But Cinco de Mayo is Spanish for the 5th of May. Is an annual celebration held, you guessed it, on May 5th to celebrate Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862. Led by General Ignacio Zaragoza. Zaragoza died months after the battle from an illness. However, a larger French force ultimately defeated Mexico's army at the Second Battle of Puebla and then occupied Mexico City. He was ungoverned, racist, ungoverned in a way. He was ungoverned in a way that led to some wrong thinking. Ungoverned as in, like he spoke without a filter, or he was like an anarchist. What? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, it's Monday. It's Monday, Cinco de Mayo. So we're celebrating a Mexican battle. More popular in the United States than in Mexico. Cinco de Mayo has become associated with the celebration of Mexican American culture. Celebrations began in Colombia, California, shocker, where they've been observed annually since 1862. The day gained nationwide popularity beyond those of Mexican American heritage in the 1980s due to advertising campaigns by beer, wine, and tequila companies. Shocker. So it's basically one of those holidays that We got no business celebrating, but we're going to celebrate it because you get to drink beer. So it's Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo if you have Mexican heritage. Even though, you know, you're just celebrating a battle that you won and then you later lost the war a couple months later. But, you know, it is what it is. Feliz cumpleaños a tu, mama. She did. It's my mother's birthday. She did. What the? Your mom would have been 70 today? What the? You had some of those Theo Von parents getting it on in their dang 70s. Ugh, my stomach hurts. Oh, and the Met Gala's going on right now, which means we're going to see a bunch of weirdos. Not sure what gender they are. Look, every time you put one up on the screen, there's somebody cross-dressing. Look. Every time I pull up the Met Gala, we got a cross-dresser. Like, I don't know if that's a woman or a man. Look like Milli Vanilli out here. What is this person wearing? Yeah. So I'm sure tomorrow we're going to get a lot of look at what so-and-so wore to the Met Gala. I'm sure somebody's going to make a political statement. AOC probably pull up with a dress made out of a millionaire's skin. Something like that. So I'll peek in at the Met Gala every now and then, see if we see some weird stuff. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's all weird. Everybody gay at this thing. It's the everybody gay celebration. Oh my God. Hold on, guys. You're going to get some chair time. Sorry, I just woke up. Hold on. Here, watch the Met Gala for a second. I'll be right back.
Herself, Miss Nicole Kidman. I'm so glad you stopped to chat.
Of course.
So there are
the Vogue live stream.
Of course, you always come and talk to us.
Absolutely.
So there are so many different ways to interpret this year's theme. So how did you bring it all to life? Because I love your look.
I just wanted something very tailor-made for me. I spoke to Anna and she said, tailor-made, remember, that is the theme, tailor-made for you. And then this kind of was inspired in support of all of those gorgeous, gorgeous dandies and the women that then honored them and supported them or protected them. So I'm happy to be here as one of them.
Of course, and you've been to a few Mets, obviously. So what do you still look forward to when you come to the Met?
I mean, it's just it's lovely to just celebrate fashion and couture and tailoring. And particularly tonight, the tailoring, because there's all the people behind the scenes who do all that beautiful work. And as with, I mean, when you really look at this theme, dandy is all about where you take a black suit and put a beautiful different button or something to where it's completely individual and made for you.
Absolutely.
Which I love.
I love it too. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, and I look forward to dancing tonight.
Yes, it's going to be a fun night.
I
Go
hear
have
it's
some
a good
fun.
musical guest.
Absolutely.
So thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
on, guys. 1 minute. I apologize. I'm having some issues.
We've been blessed by the magnificent FKA Twigs, just looking absolutely phenomenal.
You ladies look beautiful.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Could you please tell us about this look?
Yes.
Well, this look was designed by Grace Wells Bonner, who's an incredible British.
Grace.
Yeah, you love. Yeah. So we have been spending a lot of time together in Hackney for many years. It's so beautiful because we've just grown up together, so it feels like a real full circle moment. Yeah, to be together.
What's your favorite part of the look? Because everything's beautiful. What's your personal favorite? Which part of it?
There's so many amazing details.
Yeah.
I think it's the details. I feel that Grace and her team really just took their time to get everything perfect. Every crystal, every feather, the color, the way it flows. I'm feeling really good.
Good. I want to shout out your nail artist too, FKA Twigs, because the nails are.
May,
Do
shout
we have
out
a
to
nail
May.
cam? Do we have a nail cam? We need a shoe cam, a nail cam.
May?
Yeah.
May.
May, did you? Yeah. Oh my God, May do my nails too.
May,
Love
did you,
May. Hey, May, May.
I gotta shout out
May.
Bettina. Bettina did my nails. Okay, I need to tell you something, which is that I had your matcha from Matchaful
Okay.
several times.
Okay, tell me about it. Did you like
It's so
it?
bomb. Thank you. A little bit of a matcha addict, and let me tell you, FKA Twigs really that recipe. Yeah, that Matchaful matcha was doing what it needed to do.
Thank you.
Activated me for Saturday night.
I survive on matcha.
Yeah,
I love it. It
it's
gets
so
me
good.
through.
Yes. Well, you look phenomenal
Yes.
tonight.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy
Please,
yourself.
yes.
Wow, your nails beautiful too.
Thank you so much, Bettina.
buttons.
Did the buttons, the Christopher John Rogers buttons. Yeah, come on. 'Cause
Oh,
May,
patent leather.
and that's a shout out to May. Maybe we put the nails together. Can we get the
And who are you wearing?
Yeah. Oh, I'm wearing a custom design by me and the legendary Ruth E. Carter.
And what about you?
And I'm wearing Christopher John Rogers. So his buttons here on the sleeve, and it's sort of a deconstruction of a tuxedo. He's got the peplum and the polka dots. He really did his thing with this
Oh,
one.
well, you both look
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Thank you. So do you. Enjoy yourself tonight.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, when it comes to taste, it has to taste good to me
Sorry
first.
about that. Sorry about that.
I have to
Sorry
love
about
it.
that.
Something that is fashionable and
Y'all.
iconic is usually seeped.
Yeah, sorry about that. I left you with the Met Gala. Oh, you can't even see it. Whoops. Sorry, we're screwing up today. If you've watched for a while, you know I have stomach problems, and I thought I was good. I sat down, and as soon as I hit go live, it kicked in. And then yeah, anyway. Ugh. It's rough. Making you listen to that. I thought I had it on the screen. I guess it's better that I didn't. But oh man, my stomach's not good today. That was bad. I almost don't want to drink this coffee. Anyway, too many ghost peppers. Oh, I was just coughing, but no, I wasn't throwing up. I was just coughing, but yeah, my stomach's not doing too good today. All right, let's get to these impeachment articles. Definitely don't drink the coffee. Yeah, and another reason it took so long is I figured out once I was already halfway committed that I'm out of TP. So I had to go find some paper. It was a mess. I thought I had more in the cabinet. What the heck? Anyway, that's the worst. All right. So this Michigan Democratic representative, of course he's a Democrat. Duh. Siri Thanadar announced Monday he filed articles of impeachment against President Trump. And this is from The Hill. I have introduced articles of impeachment against President Trump, Thanadar said in his announcement online. When Trump ignores the American Constitution, Congress, and the courts, he is not fighting for America. He is tearing it down and endangering our society. Thanadar said he was introducing 7 articles of impeachment against Trump for various actions, including the deportation of some MS-13 gangbanger. The man mistakenly sent to El Salvador was not a mistake. It was on purpose. And the Department of Government Efficiency cutting funds without congressional approval. They just found out that Elon had Jesse Waters. Yeah, he had Waters come in and sit in on one of the Doge meetings. And they were talking about some of the funding. We're paying like $1 billion for freaking pandas. But then they can't ever show you a panda. Like maybe they get one panda a year. One panda a year for $1 billion. Further evidence the pandas aren't fake. And Elon even hinted at the conspiracy. And I'm an OG of this conspiracy. I've been talking about this for years, that pandas are spy robots. They're not really animals. I've been telling y'all. And Elon knows too, because he said it. He said, all they need to do, I can't do a good Elon voice. all they need to do is send us a, I can't do Elon, but I can do his laugh. But he said they just need to send us a picture of a baby panda. And they can't send us a picture of a baby panda. And Jesse's like, Elon, it sounds like you just want to see a picture of a baby panda. And everybody at the table started laughing, and they're like kind of rolling their eyes like, yeah, where are these baby pandas? Doesn't seem to be any baby pandas. Maybe these are, and they're sent to all the zoos, fully grown, for millions of dollars all over the world for China. And then if the panda gets sick, they're not allowed to operate on them. In the French zoo, in the American zoo, in the Canadian zoo. They got to send them back to China to get operated on, and then they get sent back to the zoos. These are spy panda robots. They're like hubs, signal hubs for the drones or something. And Elon knows. We're spending like $1 billion a year on panda rehabilitation. It's crazy. Anyway, I digress. That's Doge update. The articles of impeachment are unlikely to go anywhere in the GOP House, where Republican support would be needed to win a vote on the articles. The House votes on whether to impeach a president, while the Senate votes on whether to convict a president. In the Senate, where the GOP also has a majority, a 2/3 majority is needed to win a conviction. Still, the introduction of the articles of impeachment highlights just how angry Democrats are with Trump on a range of issues. Yeah, they're like morons. Let's check out this Siri Thanadar guy from Pierce. He was on Pierce Morgan this week. Look at this guy. Now, before you see him, if you haven't seen him yet, this dude is 70 years old. And at the end, they're like, wow, you look so good for 70. But Carrie Lake says his hair looks like a squirrel on his head because it's obviously a wig. They're like, well, you look so good for 70. Everything on him looks fake. He looks like he's made of plastic. He looks like a robot panda. What up, Jeremy? This dude is not a real person. Let's watch a little bit of his interview.
Okay, well, look, Trump has used the opening moments of his 100 days rally to condemn a lunatic, dumb guy for demanding his impeachment. Well, Democratic Congressman Siri Thanadar introduced formal articles of impeachment earlier this week, citing acts of tyranny and abuse of power. And he joins me now. Welcome to...
Look at this weird-looking dude. Who is this guy? Where'd you come from? I come from India. H1B1.
You, Congressman.
Thank you.
So you're
Thank you.
going hard on Trump.
you.
You're citing sweeping
Yes.
abuse of power,
Well, if he's
flagrant
Trump, man,
violations
he's
of the
very bad.
Constitution,
Very, very
acts
bad.
of tyranny that undermine American democracy and threaten the rule of law. Out of interest, what has Trump done that has massively surprised you, or that most of his diehard supporters didn't vote for?
Yeah, what is that?
Well, look, the tariffs. This is Congress's prerogative.
tariff.
He took that over illegally, unconstitutionally, and made a mess of it. And that lost.
He made a mess of our tariffs. The tariffs is very bad. My name is Indian Jimmy Fallon. I host late night talk time in India.
Stock values, people's 401k value got lost. He made a mess of it, and he tried to bully China. That didn't work. And right now, prices of everything are going up. You know, he got
No,
elected
they are not.
because people thought he was best.
If there's one thing I know prices. They're not going up. Many are staying the same. Many are going down. Prices not going up.
Handling the economy. It turned
Everyday low prices.
out that he made a mess of it. Prices have gone up. Now he's trying to tell Amazon, don't tell people that a tariff addition to the prices. You know, he has.
This dude is 70. He's been drinking damn baby essence. He's been sniffing baby essence. This guy is mid-transition. He does kind of look like Bruce Jenner when he started transmogrifying.
Has trampled freedom of first right, freedom. Supreme Court 9-0 decision to bring Garcia back because he did not get the due process.
Oh, you're bringing the
Trump
guys.
said he ignored that ruling. He just said yesterday that he's able to bring him back, but he will not bring him back. So he's defying Supreme Court, and that was the.
Dude, his teeth are fake. His skin is fake. His hair is fake. That's why he doesn't look 70.
Last straw for me, and that's why I introduced
the
articles of impeachment to impeach. This president must.
He removed the paper straws. That was the last straw.
Go. You know, he is
Yes, this guy is 70 years old.
Act.
I mean, it's some of that Asian blood. Some of that Asian blood keep you looking young. You can't tell if they're dang 18 or 80.
Illegal act, and this cannot stand.
This cannot stand. We will not stand.
What do you think that he's doing that his supporters didn't expect him to do? He said, I'm going to sort the southern border out, which he indisputably has done. I'm going to get very, very tough on deportations of illegal immigrants. And all right, there are one or two cases which have got the headlines, which are certainly, in my estimation, worth examining on the due process question. But the majority...
Send a USCIS agent down to El Salvador, his home country,
and
have that conversation.
But
instead of actually dealing with these issues, what do we get? Bloviating nonsense.
I'm not
it's 100 days in,
bloviating.
we're going to impeach him for what? Oh, he's doing all of these things wrong or whatever. Look, the American people voted for this. They're largely happy with what they want. People have concerns about the economy.
I look like Indian Kermit the Frog.
Polls are down. That's true. That's fine. But a lot of this is hyper-partisan sophistry intended to rile people up.
Look how wide my smile is.
There's two reasons why I'll tell you Trump's polls are down. And they are down.
Very wide.
He dropped by about 6 or 7 points from where he was earlier. It's a swing, not a drop. He's down by 4. And this is probably due to tariffs. When you look at the corporate press, the principal institutions...
Anyway, everybody has a go at him.
Fighting wars and being anti-war and trying to get us out of different things and trying to settle wars. And he is a social moderate. He's not even a conservative. There is not a single value that the Democrats hold that they are not willing to immediately abandon if Donald Trump starts to defend it. It was the Democrats who thought that we had to control the border to protect working class wages. And now all you see...
I think I have a clip of Obama talking about the deportation.
Is Democrats out there demanding free trade and demanding more access to China. You see Democrats literally sharing Chinese propaganda because it's against Trump. They have chosen China over their own working class voters. And Congressman, I'm sorry, but the UAW and the Teamsters have both endorsed the tariffs. You're in a lot of trouble in Michigan.
Yeah, well, look, auto factories are being closed, auto workers are losing jobs. Look, the unconstitutional things. This president tried to the pump and dump scheme. Remember
The pump and dump.
the
He made the cryptocurrency and they pump and dump. He pumped and he dumped. He gave it to Americans. Apparently, if you buy enough of this meme coin that Trump made, you get a personalized tour of the White House. So they're saying he's selling access to the White House. Well, I don't know. That lady's voice hurts me. No, that is what his voice sounds like. Yeah. You don't know. That is what he sounds like. Yes. He want to impeach Trump. He's not good with the Constitution. It sounds just like that. I'm embodying him. So anyway, this weird Indian dude that comes out of nowhere, and somebody says it in that interview, he's just trying to get attention from the AOC supporters and those types. I'm sure this guy will be running for president in 2028. Great. From Axios, House Democrat unveils articles of impeachment against Trump. Why it matters. It's the first time this year a House Democrat has tried to impeach the president. They say it like this is something normal that happens every year. It doesn't. It only happens every year when Trump is in office. But they're like surprised that this is the first time. What took you so long? Where you guys been? I was expecting one way earlier. We're going to have an impeachment every 6 months now. Yet again, here we go again. Protests every weekend, impeachments, race wars starting up. This is a Trump presidency. This is what you get. We get what we deserve, but I think you gotta mix the pot a little bit, you know? You gotta mix the pot when everything's a mess. If people are calm, that means that the commies are winning. Representative Al Green of Texas, who was censured last month for disrupting Trump's speech to a joint session of Congress, he said he is planning articles of impeachment as well. Shocker. That's the dude with the pimp cane. In the joint session of Congress, got a pimp cane. Circle K. Representative Ilhan Omar wants to. Oh, excuse me. That lady who married her brother, or no? That's her. Oh yeah, from Minnesota, and Michigan. Yeah, they're doing great. Also, privately floated. I'll tell you about privately floating something. Impeaching Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard over Signalgate. Thanadar, who garnered a second primary challenger on Monday morning, said in a statement that Trump is unfit to serve as president and presents a clear and present danger to our nation's constitutional and our democracy. Yelling about a mandate. Who let a pimp in? Yeah, who let a pimp into Congress? Get that dang pimp cane out of here. What the? We cannot wait for more damage to be done. Congress must act, he added. His articles of impeachment accuse Trump of obstruction of justice, abuse of power, and usurpation of power, bribery, and corruption, mostly related to the president's consolidation of power and personal finances. Reality check. The measures are almost certainly going nowhere, especially with the Republicans in control of both the House and Senate. This is why if we flub up midterms, which the left is very good at organizing outrage, manufacturing outrage, when the country's going down the shitter, they won't show up to vote. They'll show up to vote when the country's on an upswing, but they're mad about racial injustice or climate change. Then they'll organize and they'll show up and they'll vote. Not good. If we lose at midterms, these impeachments every 6 months are going to get worse. We'll lose the House and the Senate. Not like that means anything, as we've seen before. All it does is tie up Trump's time so he can't be as effective. But, oh, is this Al Green talking about it? Pimp Man? Pimp Man strong.
Articles of impeachment presented by Al Green, member of Congress. So he's defying the federal courts. Once you do this, you become
Look at this greasy old man.
a de facto dictator. You reduce the country.
Put that pimp. Don't be waving that pimp cane at me.
And for this, you must be impeached. The articles will go into many other aspects of this, but for these things, you must be impeached. These articles of impeachment I shall bring. I have said that I would and I will. But I want to give everybody notice right now. Take note of this. They will not be the only articles of impeachment because the president has done various things that merit impeachment, and at least I'm going to build a record so that posterity will know how some of us stood during this time of crisis when the president was violating the Constitution.
Whatever, dude. Whatever. So they're back at it. Meanwhile, one other little Trump story. You know they ain't happy about this. Trump posted on True Social a AI-generated image of him as the Pope. Look at Trump. Dude. And he did one for May 4th, too. I'll show you during meme review, but check this out. Look at Trump. AI Trump Pope. There's been lots of popes. The great Holy Father, Mary, Mother of God. I'll be the next pope, the greatest pope. Some say the best pope. Look, somebody made him a clown. Grok did this? Wow, Grok. No, but this is epic. People are not happy about this. W. Trump Pope. Greasy pimp. Yeah. Trump, who is not a Catholic and does not attend church regularly. Well, because the church near his house has a weird women Democrat lady. That's why he doesn't. I'm sure if he had a base church near him, he might go to it. There ain't no base church in D.C. Posted an image on his True Social platform late on Friday, less than a week after attending the funeral of Pope Francis, who died at age 88 on Easter Monday. The image shows an unsmiling Trump seating in an ornate chair. That's called a throne, not a chair. It's a throne. Dressed in white papal vestments and headdress, with right forefinger raised towards heaven. I was not pointing at heaven. I was saying number one pope. Number one pope. The irreverent post drew instant outrage, including from Republicans against Trump, a group that describes itself as pro-democracy, conservative Republicans fighting Trump and Trumpism. So in other words, Democrats. You mean Democrats? Yeah, those are just called Democrats. The group reposted the image on X, calling it a blatant insult to Catholics and a mockery of their faith. Vatican spokesperson Matteo Bruni declined to comment on the image during a brief. Yeah, you ain't going to talk bad about Trump right now. Speaking of chair, we do get a chair stream tonight. It's going to be chair stream 2.0. You know, it's Uno with the homies. It's not Uno with the boys. Should I change it to Uno with the boys? Because I like that better. The title was Uno with the homies. But I'll change it to Uno with the boys. This is Uno with the boys 2.0 because there's actually going to be people talking during it. So I think I set a goal, and I said if we meet the goal, we'll do a chair stream. We met the goal over and over again repeatedly, and I didn't do the chair stream, and now we haven't been hitting the goal. So I think people are upset that I'm not coming through with my promise. So we're going to get a chair stream tonight. We're going to play some they're going to play some Temu Mario Kart, and I'll be able to jump in throughout the night, like on my breaks and whatnot. Just make sure everybody's in line. Who's playing Uno? We play it's Crazy Eights. It's in the Discord. It's basically Uno. But they call it something different because it's like non-copyright Uno. Yeah, Lord Bibby's here. He was he's the one who got me to buy Uno, and he's the one who was in the original stream. We were playing Uno. It kept getting reposted randomly when I wasn't here. He's part of the original group that was playing Uno on that stream. You remember when we were playing Uno on stream with Luca, Bibby? Well, that stream, I guess I closed it the wrong way, and it would randomly, if I left my computer on and I left my OBS open and my YouTube open and I went to work, it would start up a Uno with the homies stream. And it would just be my chair all night. So now it's like a bit. Now people want the chair, so they're going to get the chair. All right, what else we got? Not a lot of big stuff in the news this week. More like YouTube. I guess it's not gossip because it's some of the biggest leftist creators in YouTube, but before we get to that stuff, earlier in the week I saw an article that said that Tesla was looking to oust Elon. Like they're gonna get rid of Elon. There have been some updates. It seems like that's not true. Tesla investor says Elon Musk could be behind the report he's getting ousted. I had another article on this. I don't know where it went. Let me look real quick. I only had 2 articles on this. I don't know where it went. Anyway, they said they were going to oust him. Then it came out that that's actually not true. They're declining that. They're not. That was fake news from the Wall Street Journal. Tesla investor Ross Gerber told Newsweek that he believes Elon Musk could be behind the Wall Street Journal report that the electric vehicle manufacturer's board has considered ousting him as CEO. So the Wall Street Journal comes out with that story. They say the board's trying to get Elon out. Comes out later in the week. That was not true. And now this guy from Newsweek is saying he thinks Elon did it just to maybe drive up the stock. Maybe he's trolling just to fuel some interest around what's going on with Tesla. Tesla has faced backlash. This is from Newsweek, by the way. Has faced backlash amid Musk's involvement in President Donald Trump's administration in the Department of Government Efficiency. The company's stock has tumbled 25% this year amid boycotts. So buy Tesla amid boycotts from potential consumers. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't listen to me. From potential consumers and several instances of vandalism targeting Tesla vehicles. The Journal reported this week, citing people familiar with the discussions, that the Tesla board has considered removing Musk as the company's CEO amid the political backlash. Both Musk and the Tesla board have denied the report. Musk, in a post to X, formerly Twitter, wrote that it is an extremely bad breach of ethics that the Journal would publish a deliberately false article and fail to include an unequivocal denial beforehand by the Tesla board of directors. Elon wrote that? He usually doesn't talk smart like that. He usually talks a little more on his tweets. He usually talks a little more trolly. Gerber, in a phone interview with Newsweek on Thursday, said he believes it is possible Musk himself could have been behind the report. Musk, however, has not publicly indicated that he is interested in stepping away from Tesla. This news is basically because Elon is probably looking for someone to replace him at Tesla, Gerber told Newsweek. This is the... Josh, have you touched the race war on Gives and Go? No, I have that. I have that in race. I have that in rapid fire. Is the video? Can I find the video of where she yells at that kid? It took two of you to try to beat me with the notorious B.I.B. couldn't lose. Yeah. Yeah, it randomly just starts. So we're going to have empty chair all night tonight. But I'm going to leave the Discord open. So now we have locked Discord rooms and mods and stuff. Let's see, what's this video talking about?
You really have sacrificed a lot. Been treated very unfairly.
Well, they did like to burn my cars, which is not great. You know, it's better.
But you have been treated unfairly. But the vast majority of people in this country really respect and appreciate you. And this whole room can say that very strongly. You've really been a tremendous help. You opened up a lot of eyes as to what could be done. And we just want to thank you very much. And, you know, you're invited to stay as long as you want. At some point, I guess, he wants to get back home to his cars and his...
Anyway, let me see if I can find... I know I can. I was just watching it last night. Did anybody see when Jesse Waters and Elon Doge meeting? This is a really good watch. Elon Musk introduces Doge team's big balls. Oh, he let big balls talk on it. He let big balls speak on it. Fraud at scale. I'm trying to find a good clip. So Jesse Waters from Waters World.
Get a one-time free Triple Carl's Jr. Burger. Yes.
Went to the Doge meeting.
Tonight, our exclusive look into Doge. Elon Musk was nice enough to invite us into the Eisenhower building last night to sit in on his weekly 10 p.m. Doge meeting. Yeah, they usually meet at 10 o'clock.
I know, he acts like that's like a shocker.
I'm almost showed us how Doge really gets done.
That's what time people like us operate, is at 10 o'clock. What do you mean?
Part one, to do something no
That's
anchor
breakfast.
ever does. I'm not going to talk.
What?
For as long as possible.
You're talking right now.
I'm going to let you run your meeting, and then I'll interrupt when I'm bored.
We normally go around the table. Sure. No, we start with you.
Sure. So actually, a lot of great work at the Treasury this week. One of the crazy things with regards to the Treasury is that when a payment is made, and the computers at the Treasury actually pay about $5 trillion per year, like crazy amounts.
5 trillion. Listen to this.
There was formerly not a budget code on there. So if a payment was made, you didn't know actually what it was for. It could have been for anything. Yeah. There was a $4 billion COVID fund in the Department of Education. And there was no receipts required, so people could just draw down on it. And when people look...
The audio cut out there. A $4 billion COVID fund from the Department of Education, and you could just draw money out of it. You didn't have to say what it was for. There was no receipt. There was no record. You could just take money out. And so then look what they do. Look what they do.
Looked into it. This wasn't us. This was before us. They found that money was being used to rent out Caesar's Palace for parties, rent out stadiums.
Oh, parties at the Caesar Palace for the teachers? Who's going to these parties?
Etc.
Department of Education parties at the Caesar Palace?
The Department of Education is we had the simple requirement that if you draw down money, you must first upload a receipt. That was the only change that was made. You must upload your receipt. And upon doing so,
yes,
nobody drew down any money anymore.
Yes, but we didn't say that we'd check the receipt. You could send a fake receipt. You could send a picture of your dog. Anything. But as soon as we asked for anything at all, suddenly the requests were like, oh, we don't need it anymore.
And Asmongold, I watched his reaction to this, and he said, he made the good point here that the reason they stopped is because they were committing soft fraud previously. Like the account's there. I can take money out of it. I don't need a receipt. So I'm just going to take the money out. And then I can't really get in trouble because that's what it's there for, right? I'm doing everything the right way. And then when they ask for a receipt, instead of making a fake receipt, which then would be like hard fraud, now you can get caught. Now there's a paper trail. Instead, they just stopped. They just stopped taking money out of it because they couldn't, you're not going to make a fake receipt. Then they find out you made a fake receipt. Now you're screwed. Nope, they just stopped taking the money out. Shocker. I should have wrote down a timestamp of when they talk about the fake pandas.
Huh, that's interesting.
They were renting Caesar's palace.
Yes, they were like basically partying on the taxpayer money.
Stadiums.
Yes.
Leasing stadiums.
Leasing stadiums.
For what?
For parties, basically.
For massive Satan-worshipping orgies.
For parties.
Yes.
That's a big party.
It's a big party.
You'd think if you were stealing, you'd start small.
They do start small. But then what happens is over the years, so generally the fraud starts out small and they try to hide it. But then year after year, if nobody stops the fraud, it gets more and more brazen.
Yeah,
and every year it gets bigger. And
you get big balls when you're stealing and you're not getting caught. You steal more.
Until they're literally renting out stadiums. What's
that, $1 million to rent out a stadium?
Fraud in
This Asian guy, he's pretty cool.
Really?
Fruit jam. And they get $50 million a year, congressional money, to give grants.
Look at these young kids, young nerds, young gamers. This is Gamergate. These young gamer boys, nerds, killing it in the government right now, and the lefties hate it. There's not a lot of racial diversity in this, but there is a couple Asian dudes. But you ain't gonna see no. Never mind. I'm not gonna. You're gonna notice a couple races are absent from this table. It's a lot of white and Asian.
These are things like, alpaca farming in Peru.
Alpaca farming?
That's a real example.
Yes, that's the real description. Improving the marketability.
$50 million for alpaca farming in Peru. Because what are they going to do without the alpacas?
Of peas in Guatemala.
Really?
Encouraging the eating of peas in Guatemala. Taste the penis.
Fruit jam. Yes.
What?
And so you might expect, in the private sector, a nonprofit to give, 80 to 90%.
No Tyrone.
of their money to grantees. In the case of IAF, that was 58%.
They ain't got no Hispanic.
So the other half goes towards management, travel.
What we're find exactly, I mean, to Ethan's example is that even if you agreed with supporting alpaca farmers in Peru, well, actually, most of the money never made it out of D.C.
Mm-hmm.
It's going into the pockets of people in the neighborhood.
What percentage?
And they didn't even get to Peru.
Right. So what percentage do you think doesn't even get to the destination?
None of it gets
to.
I believe the GAO estimates, so this is not our estimate,
it says
I believe it was on the order of only 10 to 15 cents on the dollar actually gets to the end recipient, whether you agree with that cause or not.
So they're just stealing the money before it even gets anywhere.
There's layers of stealing. So there's the first layer of stealing, second layer of stealing, third layer of stealing.
Subcontractor.
And Democrats would support this. If it wasn't Trump and Elon doing it, or if it was Elon under a Democrat president, Democrats would support this. They don't like big government. Well, they say, they do like big government, but they think they don't. But they say eat the rich, no oligarchies. So what, you'd rather have a bureaucracy? There's already bureaucrats getting rich. Insider trading, fraud, shell corporations. How come every Democrat, all these elected people have kids who work in freaking Ukrainian and Chinese industries that they have no training in or no expertise in?
Peeling the onion. Yeah, exactly. Contractor, subcontractor. It's like peeling an onion. And then
I just wanna
maybe,
get to big
and sometimes
balls.
it's zero. Just flat, you get to the bottom
Let
of the
big
onion,
balls
there's nothing
cook.
there.
Battles.
Yeah. I mean, who should talk about Yusuf?
Nate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jesse,
There's big
a
balls.
small agency called the United States Institute of Peace. It's definitely the agency we had the most fight at. We actually went into the agency and found that they had loaded guns inside of their headquarters. Institute for Peace.
I mean, any given company, any given organizational name is going to be kind of be the opposite of the title.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was by
And
far
I don't know why, because they kind of like zoomed in on this kid's face, but they're not. See how they're doing a weird angle here and they're not zooming in on his face? Even though there's lots of pictures of him out there, I think they're still trying to give Big Balls a little anonymity. A little anonymity here.
least peaceful agency that we've worked with.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Of course.
The Agency of Peace is working with terrorist groups. And he says they went into the Agency of Peace and there were loaded guns all over the place. At the Agency of Peace.
Organizational name is going to be kind of be the opposite of the title.
Right.
Yeah.
The Agency
Yeah,
of
so
Peace.
it's by far the least peaceful agency that we've worked with.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Of course.
Additionally, we found that they were spending money on things like private jets, and they even had a $130,000 contract with a former member of the Taliban. This is real. We don't encounter that at most agencies.
Yeah.
The Agency of Peace had a $130 million contract with somebody from the Taliban. Wow.
What was the money going to the Taliban for?
So it was a contractor. They received $130,000 for generic services. And to Elon's point, there was not actually a clear description of what the contractor services were for. But
was it for opium?
Unclear.
Or weapons?
That means yes.
Or nothing.
Or nothing.
or a bribe.
Or yeah, nothing.
And you naturally have to ask the question, how did we get here? Like when the country was founded, there were only 4 agencies. Today there are over 400. So there's been a 100x increase in the number of agencies since the founding of the nation. And thanks to President Trump, he's now signed 2 executive orders to start to reduce the number of agencies in the government, and the Institute of Peace was one of them, which is why our team went in to try and understand what was going on. And that's when we found all of the craziness, like the weapons in their armory. We found the payments to the Taliban.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
try to hide the evidence.
Right. So just a few hours after we got into their headquarters, we found that their chief accountant had actually deleted over 1 terabyte of accounting records from several years. So
A terabyte
you have
of
to ask the question,
accounting
well, why would
records.
somebody do that? The Doge team, fortunately, was able.
Not a terabyte of movies. Not a terabyte of AAA games. Because that would only be like 10 games. Maybe less. No, a terabyte of accounting data. Do you know how much accounting you got to do to fill up a terabyte? Somebody, where's the nerds at? Let me know, nerds. How many pages of accounting data can you fit on a terabyte?
Able to recover that data with the help of a few great employees at the Institute of Peace. And I
Not enough that you can't destroy it.
I think the most troubling thing was they received $55 million a year from Congress, and any money that went unspent, instead of returning that to Congress, they would sweep it into a private bank account, which had no congressional oversight. And that's what they would use to fund things like events at their headquarters and the private jets. And so I think it's a great example because most Americans don't know what's going on at a lot of these smaller agencies, and this is, I think, the most extreme case
It's
of
a lot of
some
accounting.
Of
a significant amount of
wasteful spend
accounting
that we're finding.
So the agencies are hiding money from you. They're sending it to the Taliban. They have loaded weapons in the department buildings.
At the Institute of Peace.
At the Institute of Peace.
Yes.
That's right.
So this is a cover-up when you guys roll in.
This one, yes, a cover-up. Yes.
It's a cover-up.
They did delete a vast amount of financial information. That's really a definition of a cover-up.
Isn't that illegal to delete evidence?
Yes.
Shred documents?
It is.
Well, not when Hillary does it. Put them in jail. Lock them up. Lock them all up. But yeah, that's a good watch. If you want something good to watch, check that out. It's a good one. All right. Let's do this. The left eating itself more. It's glorious. It's glorious. It's been very glorious. So Dean and Parker, Dean Withers and Parker, nobody knows or cares what his last name is. These new up and coming TikTok leftist stars. You know, I don't know where these guys, I mean, I'm sure they got PACs and stuff supporting them, Democrats and stuff, boosting them up. Same thing with the Harry Sisson guy. These Democrat kids on TikTok who are poisoning the children's minds. They get bolstered up by people with money. Because this Dean dude came out of nowhere. He's not entertaining. He's a dork. Like, I don't know how any young men could watch this content and be entertained by it or be like, oh, wow, I really like what this guy has to say. How can young men be watching this and not just be like, this dude's gay? In my day, this never would have happened. If this kid, Dean and Parker, we'd be like, why are you gay? Why are you gay? Nobody's watching that. And now these young men who don't know what gender they are like infatuated with this stuff, with this garbage content. Well, anyway, Dean and Parker, kind of to rival TPUSA, how Charlie Kirk is, you know, I like Charlie Kirk. I'm not a huge, you know, Charlie Kirk fan, but he's all right. He's gotten better. He's doing his college campus tour, and they are really affecting the young people through TPUSA. They're doing good work. I give them that, even if Charlie Kirk is a little annoying. Well, Dean and Parker were trying to make like a rival PAC, Political Action Committee. What is it? Political Action. I think it's Political Action Committee, to rival TPUSA. And they call it the Unfuck America Tour. Wow. Wow. That's real edgy. Real edgy of you guys. But then you're not that edgy because you fired a black woman for microaggressing other black ladies. Yes, that's what happened. The Unfuck America Tour was being organized by some chick named Z. She black. She black. Z went on a TikTok panel with a bunch of other black ladies, and she said, you guys just keep yelling over me. Why are you being so aggressive? Whoa, 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 whoa. That's a racist microaggression. Are you saying all black women are aggressive? Are you saying all black women don't have self-control and that they yell a lot and that they're aggressive? That's a racist microaggression. So they told Z she had to leave, but I guess Z didn't want to leave. So instead they just canceled the whole tour. And a lot of people had already bought plane tickets to go out to these college campus tours to see Dean and Parker. I wish I had a clip of the TikTok call because I listened to the whole TikTok call on Destiny's stream. And the other ladies are like, I just don't see why you have two white boys running this event. Now, that's not racist. That you're allowed to say that. But then when the other girl says, you guys are being aggressive, and that sounded a little racist, she is the racist now, even though she's black and she's talking to other black women. And I hope the left sees this. And I hope that this Z girl, maybe something clicks in her head and she says, oh, wow, these people really are all snakes. These people are all snakes. I'm black. They blatantly made a racist comment about white boys. And then I responded, well, that sounds kind of aggressive. And now I'm kicked out because I'm the racist? A black woman, a strong, independent black woman, said to other black women, y'all are being aggressive. And she got kicked out for a racist microaggression after they had just been talking about how white boys shouldn't be running the event. I hope this girl sees this and maybe she wakes up and she comes to the right side. But so Parker, Dean, and most of the other creators learned about Z's racist comments and still decided to go on the tour, except for one creator who spoke up about it much sooner. It's a long story, but the creator that spoke up had a falling out with those who didn't, who still went on the tour. Apparently, one person involved in the tour was saying one thing to some creators and other things to other creators, leading to the creators not knowing if they should speak up. None of these people are creating anything, by the way. Speak up about the racism quite yet. Some think the creators blatantly ignored racism just for the money, and others think that they were just confused because they were being directed not to speak up. Anyway, let's look at a few clips of this. Let's listen to what Dean has to say about this. How do I unmute this?
Been transpiring since even before the Unfuck America tour, 2 days before. And this relates to myself, this relates to Parker, and this relates to the organizer of the tour, Z. So first and foremost, I think it's worth kind of going over like why we're talking about this. So I say we start there. For those that don't know, because I'm going to go ahead and assume that there's a lot of people in this live that don't know, the organizer of the Unfuck America tour, her name is Z, and I want to say maybe 2 or 3 days before we inevitably went boots on the ground in Texas, Z had joined a live with a panel of black women and had been incredibly microaggressive against them.
Incredibly
This was
microaggressive.
then, recorded and word got around.
Dude, I listened to it, and maybe I'm like out of touch. Maybe I don't know what a microaggression is. Like it sounds like some commie gobbledygook, so maybe I just don't speak that language. But I don't think she said anything like that crazy. Literally all she said is like, you guys keep talking over me, you're so aggressive. Or something like get some self-control, you're so aggressive, or something like that. That was the microaggression. That was the racist microaggression. Because she's implying that black women are aggressive. So that's racist. And she's black, by the way. But then another girl starts talking, and the other girl cuts her off and says something like, you're just a white woman. Why are you talking over me? You're a white woman. And they're like, she's not white, she's Indian. And the girl says, well, you can be Indian and still be white. But that's not racist. Saying white boys running the event, that's not racist. But when you say you guys are being aggressive, that's racist.
And in fact, I knew that she was on a panel and had gone to shit while it was happening, but it wasn't until the next day that I had learned exactly what she had done. And at that point, we were 2 days out from boots on the ground in Texas. And if we reflect on the last week, you all know that I ended up going to Texas, and I have not spoken about this on my live.
Exactly. A microaggression is what it's called when nothing actually offensive happens, but you still want to complain. Apparently, a microaggression is like, it's like when you see, I can't even think of a good example of one, and I've listened to examples of them, and I hear it, and I'm like, well, that's just stupid. Like if I said, if I see a black person with his pants around his ankles, and I say something like, why does he have his pants around his ankles like that? That's a microaggression because it's part of their culture, apparently. It's so stupid.
Live stream until now. So my first order of business is apologizing to the individuals that are watching this stream that are a member of the BIPOC community for not speaking.
The BIPOC community. BIPOC means, what does BIPOC mean? Black, indigenous, person of color, or BIPOC, biracial person, something person of color, something stupid. The BIPOC community. Bro, Tupac would whoop BIPOC's ass.
Speaking out about this sooner. over the course of the last, I want to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
five,
yeah. If you tell a black person pull up your trousers, that's a microaggression. That's a racist microaggression.
to 6 to 7 days since this, there's been a lot of thoughts that have been going around in my head.
Or if you're in the movie theater and there's like a black family behind you and they're all yelling, "Oh, don't you go that way, girl! What? Oh, ah!" And you turn around and you say, "Hey, can you guys be quiet? We're in a movie." That's a racist microaggression, guys. What are you saying? All black people are loud in a movie theater? By telling them to be quiet during the movie? It's racist.
Insofar as how I want to navigate through this and what I want to achieve and what I want the future to look like.
Okay, shut up, Dean. What's this guy talking about?
And National Ground Game, and we raised $100,000, and we didn't want.
They raised $100,000. Where's this money gonna go? Who's messaging me? I bet you it's Stubborn One sending memes. Yep, it's too late. I've already started the show. I'm gonna have. I got old memes today. We'll have to use those next week. A microaggression is subtle, often unintentional, verbal or nonverbal communication that expresses prejudice or bias towards a person or group. It can manifest in various forms, including verbal slights, insults, or assumptions that invalidate or demean someone's identity. For example, asking someone of color, "Where are you really from?" implies they don't belong in their own country. "Oh, where are you from?" I asked Seaside, "Where are you from?" She says, "I'm from Texas." And I say, "But where are you really from?" That's a microaggression. Yes, queening the idea he's too white to lead an event. But the girl who said the white boys are running the event isn't the one that got in trouble. That girl was fine, I think, unless I misunderstood it. Because I remember one girl says, "Well, we got two white boys running this event." But I think that was the other lady. I think that was this lady, this big girl.
Maybe something. I don't know what happened there.
I didn't see her.
But I definitely want to hear from Erica because I like her.
I had some
Dean is in the comments sitting here saying about who me.
I have some questions.
Oh no, I see Dean. Dean wants to come if he can as well, but I'm not. Like I said, I want to hear from people. If you guys want to speak on it, it's perfectly fine. But
I have some questions.
Hello, Jimbo. Do you support Trump?
The Unfuck America tour organizer is racist.
What? Who?
The organizer for the Unfuck America tour is racist.
Who?
There was a person on live. I believe their name was like Z or something on TikTok. She was calling a panel full of black women uneducated and aggressive, and also called a black woman a bully because she was getting mad because someone was using their trauma to pivot off of their argument.
Yeah, see, so that Z chick is not the one who said white boys running the event. That girl's fine. You're allowed to say that. But you're not allowed to say you guys sound uneducated and aggressive. That's a microaggression.
Do you want to send me a recording of this in DMs? I'm guessing somebody has it.
Yeah, there's a YouTube video of the whole 4-hour live stream. It's like a live stream of them critiquing it, which I love the tour. I just saw this and I thought I'd have to let you know.
Yeah,
we would definitely take a look at that.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and... If you want to go ahead and just send like the link to that in my DMs over on Instagram, that'd be sweet. That'd be awesome, and I do appreciate you for that. What's going on, Haley?
Whatever. Anyway, so that's going on. $100,000 they raised. Where's that money going to go? God knows. Somebody's going to make a content creator house. Meanwhile, more left eating itself. So first, earlier in the week, Sam Seder goes on Ethan Klein's show to talk about Zionism, to talk about what's going on with Israel and that stuff. And Sam basically says he would join Hamas. He tries to justify it. He said, Haruk Barak. I don't know who that is. Probably some Jewish guy. Says, Haruk Barak said this. So I'm just saying what he said. But if I was in Palestine, I would join Hamas. calls him a liberation movement who's done Hamas is a liberation movement that's done some good and some bad. And he would join Hamas. Look, I got it right here.
How do you feel about Hamas?
I mean, I feel that Hamas, people can perceive it as a liberation organization. We
a liberation
call them
organization
in this country. We call the
What
ANC
do you think about
terrorists.
them, Sam?
Listen, I think there are parts, I would imagine, of Hamas that have done good for the people in Gaza, and I think they have done bad things. But I sort of feel, I guess, ultimately probably like Ehud Barak when he said that were I Palestinian and I was living in Gaza, that it would be likely that I would join Hamas. And I think that is an understanding of human nature.
That
when
you're
you
not
are the
affording
subject-
Israelis, by the way, just to point out an inconsistency there.
So Sam Seder goes on, and then that was like big. A lot of people were talking about that. And then a week later, we get Hassan and Ethan. So after the content nuke, and iDubbbz is still involved in this content nuke, then iDubbbz releases the content cop. Airsoft Fatty jumps in the mix, calls out iDubbbz. iDubbbz releases the content detective. It's just the left is eating itself. Parker and Dean can't run a damn event. Shocker when you have certain type of people. It's not the race. It's just the personality type. You know, this aggressive, strong black woman type running your event that it crumbles. Shocker. Then iDubbbz, Hassan, Ethan, Sam Seder. The left is eating itself. It's collapsing inwards. It's amazing. Hassan Piker and Ethan Klein debate goes viral after feud and content nuke fallout. Prominent online personalities Hassan Piker and Ethan Klein faced off in a fiery live debate on May 2nd, 2025. I've watched about an hour and a half of the 4-hour thing. It gets real. The beginning's cool. The end is cool. The middle, it gets real slow and it gets kind of repetitive. And then they're talking about a bunch of people who I don't know, like this Frogan chick and stuff like that. Drawing widespread attention from fans and commentators alike, the event marked a major escalation in their ongoing public dispute, which has been brewing since their professional fallout in 2023. The two previously co-hosted the Left-Leaning Leftovers podcast. The debate streamed live across both their like 220,000 people between the two platforms. I think Hassan said he got up to 120K live viewers, and Ethan had like 100K. So like 220K live viewers to watch these two fools argue about nothing for 5 hours. It's insane. Leading to a series of critical videos, Klein released a content nuke aimed at Piker, prompting a sharp rebuttal from Piker via a content cop collaboration with YouTuber iDubbbz. The debate streamed live across both their platforms, triggered by lingering tensions over those videos. At one point, Klein accused Piker of being embarrassed by parts of the content cop, suggesting he downplayed his role. Yeah, he did the Fortnite L dance. Piker defended himself, saying his involvement was consistent with past collaborations. Viewers quickly weighed in on social media. With reactions, some praised Piker's composure and clarity, while others sided with Klein, highlighting what they saw was stronger counterpoints. Yeah, except just if you're going to try to listen to it, just listen to it. Don't watch it because it's very distracting because Ethan's always doing this. Stuff. I don't know what it is. I don't want to make fun of somebody's disability, but it seems like maybe you're doing something to amplify that Tourette's there, Ethan. I had Tourette's until I quit meth. It's crazy when I got off the meth, my Tourette's went away. I stopped having weird twitches and spasms and stuff once I got off the meth. I'm not saying Ethan uses meth. Probably just Adderall and Ozempic. Bad combination. Not even counting all the people broadcasting live reactions. I think altogether it was about 300,000 watching live. That's crazy. That's wild. Let's look at a little bit. I just want to watch this sword part because it pretty blatantly, obviously, even talks about it being a swastika sword. This is pretty wild. And Hassan openly supports
What's
Hamas.
funny about that?
Hassan plays videos. Well, I think he's banned on Twitch currently, right, Goon? Is he currently banned? He'll play videos of Hamas doing terrorist stuff on Twitch. And his chat is like, W Hamas. Like, he's promoting. You literally said I sounded autistic, Josh. What you mean? Did I tell you sounded autistic? It's okay, baby. These days, everybody sounds a little autistic. I'm a little autistic. You can be a little autistic with me. Just don't do freaking meth.
I think it's funny because you've made this.
I don't know. What do you guys think? There's a lot of right angles in that sword. That's a right angly looking sword right there.
It's a major point of contention. That's why I think it's funny.
It's a swastika, is it not?
Yeah, it's a sword that is a bleach sword, as you know already. That has a hilt that has a Japanese manji sign on it. But yeah, so it does look like a swastika. As I've also noticed.
That's what I call it every time I rock a swazi. I call it a Japanese manji sign.
And have talked about on numerous occasions that you brought forward.
Yeah, of course you're conceding that because we fished this up. But yeah,
such as when I made fun of, I believe it was Alexa that grabbed it, and I said, "Oh, you immediately go for the swastika."
Immediately goes for the swastika one, so he knows it's a swastika sword, and he still has it, and he lets him use it in the video.
Swastika one,
and he even says, "That's the Swazi sword."
Yeah, exactly. Do you think?
Anyway, my point is, Hassan, if I can continue, my point is that you knew it was a swastika sword. So why did you guys choose to pose with this sword?
Ethan,
answer that. Why was the choice made for this sword?
I'm gonna gently explain this to you again. One, it's not a swastika, but regardless.
Do you think it looks like a swastika?
I did not make this editorial decision. I wasn't even.
And they talk about how Idub shaved his head right before it, looking like a young Himmler's army. Sweet Nazi sword. Yeah. Yeah. And so it's a mess for the left right now. Hassan, Ethan, Idubs, Dean, Parker, Sam Seder, they're all just crumbling. They're collapsing under the weight of Trump, Elon, and big balls. That's what happens. You mess with the big balls, you get crushed. All right. I should put, since we're talking about race stuff right now, we should go straight to that that story Bibby sent. So yeah, I'll just go to it. Okay, so this lady yelled at a kid in a park and called him the N-word. Did you send me that? You got me the video? Okay, cool. And somebody recorded it, and it blew up on social media. They were doxing her. They were trying to, she's a racist. They're going to dox her. They're going to, try to get her fired from her job. Send a bunch of pizzas to her house. Maybe some Antifa shows up at her door with a weapon. You know, what they normally do. And she started a Gifts and Go. And so far, I think she's raised more than $500 million. No. $500,000. 500,000. Not 500 million. She's raised more than $500,000 so far on her Gifts and Go. And all the comments are like, you know, they're what you would call racist people. They're saying, good job for saying the N-word to a child. I'm going to say, I don't endorse yelling any obscenities at any children. It's probably not good. Should not be doing that. And I don't endorse people using the N-word all willy-nilly. But what we're seeing here is backlash. White people are tired of this crap. And when you push racism, the white devil, inherent racism, you were born racist because you're white, you're going to start a race war. There's going to be backlash. And that's what we're seeing is the backlash. How do I make this bigger? Okay, cool. All right, I have not seen this video yet. There's going to be some foul language in here. We do not endorse this language, but...
Did you call the child a nigger? Did you call him a nigger, the child? Did you call the child a nigger word? It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again?
It was a soft A. It was a soft A. He's the one using the heart. Did you call it? It sounds like the dude that's trying to impeach Trump. Oh, it's beeped? Okay, cool. It sounds like the dude that's trying to impeach Trump.
All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody digging into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger?
So apparently the kid was digging around in her purse. Little kid was trying to steal stuff out of her purse. So she called the kid the M-word. And then this guy starts recording. Did you just call that kid in a beep? Did you just call him? Hold on now. Hold on. Did you just call that child a... No, I didn't call him a... I think you called him a... That's what happened here.
The little child? Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old nigger the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's the hate speech. And you can be...
That did the hate speech. Listen, buddy, this is America. There's no such thing as hate speech. Go back to India.
Recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
Fuck off.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
You can see what the internet has to say about you. So see, he already knows what he's going to do with this. They're going to put it on the internet. Well, it backlashed. It didn't work out too good. Because now she's got $500,000 in her pocket. Dude, if that's what you got to do, and after the Carmelo Anthony incident where he got $500,000 for killing a white person, now you can get $500,000 for calling a little kid the N-word. Dude, I'm about to go get rich. Like, it doesn't seem that difficult to make $500,000 anymore. All I got to do is go do something super racist and then start a Gifts and Go, and I'm going to be rich. I'm surprised people haven't been sending my show money all this time because I've been trying. She's got around 800K now? No freaking way. Dude, I listened yesterday to a video about this, and she was at like 519,000, I think. She's almost at 1 million. Bro, we're doing an IRL at the playground tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, in the hood. How many you think I can get in an hour? I promise. We find the hood playground. I'm going to the hood playground. I'm gonna hit like 10 of them every minute. She's about to dye her hair blonde and go to the playground and just start dropping M-bombs on everybody, dude. I'm gonna IRL stream walking through the hood. And just calling every child I see. This is a joke, YouTube. I would never do that. That's horrible. For $1 million? I'm saying over $1 million. I bet you could beat that. Yeah, I think pull a Die Hard 2 and cash out. Hold on, I think I have the story somewhere in here. But watch her not end up receiving the money. But this Carmelo Anthony dude will get his money. Firebomb. Nah, I don't have it. I don't have the story. I could pull it up real quick. That's crazy. Who's going to the playground with me? Cha-ching. We're going to the... Those ain't the swing sets. Those are the cha-ching sets. Woman. What's her name? Woman at playground. Gifts and Go. I always thought it was Gifts and Go, but it's Give, Send, Go. Comments were removed from the fundraiser, which has raised more than $675,000 due to the unacceptable volume of racist and derogatory remarks, according to the co-founder of the Christian crowdfunding platform. Online fundraiser purported to be for a woman in Minnesota who admitted in a viral clip to calling a child the N-word at a public park has garnered more than $675,000 in donation, many of which came with comments espousing white supremacist views. Many of the racist comments were posted by anonymous users or those using racist handles, and some even seemed to refer to Nazi symbolism. Among those donating money were White Unity Will Unite. That's kind of redundant. Black Excellence Fatigue. Aunt Jemima. White Stand Strong, and White Rise. The comments in the commenting function were later removed. These young generations of white people are sick of bullying, intimidation, and being made to shut up about race issues. White Texas Mommy wrote on the fundraising page while contributing $50. Dude, White Texas Mommy, where you at? Join my chat. Come on now. They call us racist because we are white. Nothing will ever make them happy. They've been given trillions of dollars. They've been allowed into our schools and neighborhoods, forced upon us at every turn, and they still aren't happy. Donor Hey Wild Rich wrote on another since-removed post before contributing $88. We remain committed to ensuring all funds raised are delivered to the campaign recipients as intended, he wrote, unequivocally condemned the hateful comments that sought to fuel division and harmful narratives. So she's Gifts and Go's standing there saying that she's going to get the money. You need to cut that off and just take your losses before they end up shutting it down. That's crazy. Dude, $800,000. All you got to do is call a kid the N-word. Dude, I'd do it for $800K. I just got to call one kid a mean name. And I'm saying it. I don't condone it. It's a mean name. But dang, for $800K? That kid ain't even going to remember it. He'll be fine. I'm sure his dad calls him that all the time. Oh, wait. Probably not, actually. White Texas Mommy Josh is super racist. He say ninja all the time. White Texas Mommy Josh is super racist. I do not do that. I don't condone that. I'm just saying for $800K, I might let some of that one slide. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. All right, let me open up these Let me open up these memes real quick. Some of these memes are going to look like dirty pictures, but they're not. It's a trick, okay? All right, guys. It's time for... music. Okay. Ladies, mansplaining is short for man explaining. Do you even know what mansplaining is, ladies? It's when a man is explaining something. All right? That's what mansplaining is. Hold on. Is that too loud? Did I just blow you guys' eardrums out? All right. Meantime, what else we got? Would y'all still eat this? I guess some vegans are going around sticking these stickers on meat at the grocery store. Scotch fillet steak. My name was Chloe. I wanted to live. Your personal choice killed me. Don't buy it. Somebody said I would look for the one with my name on it, like those Coca-Cola bottles. Yeah, where's Josh? My name is Josh. Oh, I still eat it. You're still getting eaten. Straight up. Straight up. Next, poor Chloe. Escher's ancestor. This is a nerd meme, a art nerd meme. If you like nerd stuff and you like art like me, you'll understand this if you know who MC Escher is. Okay, so see the guy's got the flag here, and these guys bring their ladder up. They put the ladder on the thing. He takes the flag out of the wall, pulls the flag out of the wall, sticks it to the other side of the wall, and the ladder falls. And look, the wall has changed. The building didn't change. You just changed the location of the flag. See, it makes sense here. Now it flips your perspective. And now the ladder is leaning on nothing. And they fall. MC Escher nerd meme next. Don't fuck up progress trying to rush the process. If February didn't March, April, May. If February didn't March, April, May. Nice. Next. A little motivational. Damn! Whoa! Hold up. That ham sandwich better chill. What? Holy moly. Dang.
No, that doesn't work either.
That is a provocative looking cold cut. That is a provocative looking cold cut right there. They want the cow's death to be in vain? Right, it's already dead. Eat the cow. Look at that dang sexy meat sandwich. Next. Whoa. What is this tattoo on this fighter? Huh. Interesting tattoo you got there. That's an interesting looking tattoo. Why would you get a Chex Max square pretzel on your chest? That's odd. Dude, this guy's trying to get paid on Gifts and Go or something. Next. This helmet. Yo. Would you guys wear this helmet if you were motorcycle riders? You look like Cormier or DC. That's freaky. That's a freaky helmet right there. What the?
It's a man, baby.
Next. You gotta be a man to wear that. Stop abbreviating shit. Bro said DYKTMM. Do you know? Do I know the Muffin Man? Motherfucker, do I know the Muffin Man? What are you asking me? DYKTMM? Do you know the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man? That's all I could think of. Dang. That. Next. This is real. Happy May 4th to all, including the radical left lunatics who are fighting so hard to destroy America. Happy May the 4th be with you. Look at Trump with the red lightsaber. You know what that means. Trump is on the dark side. Trump ain't no Jedi. Trump ain't no commie, rebellion, old sand person, old person of Tatooine running around in robes and, oh, use the falsehood. No. Trump is with the empire, baby. Let's go.
It's a man, baby.
The rebels are commies.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Look at Trump. That's on the White House's webpage on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you guys. That was yesterday. Today is Cinco de Mayo. I bought these 6 months ago, and my neighbor still thinks it is a dog shitting all over his porch and driveway. Where you get these dog footprint shoes, you could take a dump wherever you want, and people will just think it's a dog. He's doodling on his neighbor's driveway.
No, that doesn't work either.
Next. Whoa. When your photo doesn't go as planned. That's nudity. No, it's not, guys. That is not nudity. That's the dog. This dog. That's the pit bull. It just looks like... Okay, we need to get that off the screen. YouTube's not going to understand what's happening there. Dalai Lama quietly cancels scheduled meeting with JD Vance. This is an old meme. This is from a couple weeks ago. There was a conspiracy theory going around that JD Vance killed the Pope. So the Dalai Lama canceled his meeting with JD. Thank you, Babylon B. Thank you, Babylon B. W Empire. Shout out Empire. Sith, etc. could also say may. Sith. I don't know what that means. Next. Jesus cleansing the temple in 2025. Get out of here, Pope. Dang. Dang, Jesus, calm down. Next. Death says, and over there is the lake of lava where you'll spend eternity. And then I say, but we're underground, so technically it's magma. Technically it's liquid hot molten magma. Death, you realize this is why you're here, right? This is why you're in hell. Actually, it's not lava, it's magma, Satan. Yeah, you're going to the ninth ring of hell. The stupid correction. Shut up. Nobody cares. Next. Sorry, kid, I'm the Ether Bunny. This is a late meme. We should have had this a couple weeks ago, but I had to put it in here because I didn't see it till yesterday. Sorry, kid, I'm the Ether Bunny. Mike Tyson is the Ether Bunny. That's pagan. That's pagan. Sorry, kid, I'm the Ether Bunny. I'll eat your children. I'll fuck you till you love me. Dude, Big Mike. Not Big Mike. This is a different Big Mike. Next. Y'all don't understand how hard I laughed at this. Above knee, Bologna. Above knee, Bologna. I don't get it. Above knee, Bologna. Just kidding. It's above knee, baloney. Above knee, baloney. Also, who the hell decided how we spell baloney? In what world does this spell baloney? That's Bologna. Ain't no way to get baloney out of that. Sorry, I just had to point that out. Why does a bunny hide its eggs? So no one knows it's messing with the chicks. Next. Bill Gates, 12.3 million deportations, 0 injunctions. George Bush, 10.3 million deportations, 0 injunctions. Obama, you say 5.3 million deportations and 0 injunctions. Donald Trump, 100,000 deportations, 30 injunctions. Wow, I have the most injunctions, but the least deportations. We're going to fix that, though. We're getting on it. Yep. Next. mental illness ID bracelet. It's the septum piercing. It's obviously the septum piercing.
Beta!
Next. Tyronavirus. That's the Tyronavirus. Hold up. If you guys see this guy, if you guys see the Tyronavirus at a park, I can tell you how to make 800 million real quick. Or 800,000. Dang. Tyronavirus. What the?
No, that doesn't work either.
Next. Vagisil feminine wash, high mileage with odor block protection. Help stop odor from happening. It says for bitches with that check engine light on. What the? Holy moly. Next. Casual but fun. Casual but fun? Don't be having no casual but fun. I'm looking for a lady who's casual but fun. I ain't looking for no casual but fun. Not the high mileage. Let's see. A black cat and a black cock gets 1 million views. A black cat and a white cock gets... And I'm saying these are roosters, guys. I'm not saying anything gross here. These are roosters. Gets 5 million views. White cat, white cock gets 20 million views. White cat, black cock gets 100 million views. What the? Damn. Next. When the only thing willing to come inside you is diabetes. Whoa. Holy moly. But she's sworn off sex. She's not going to have sex with anybody until abortion is legal.
Beta!
Next. Empathy will suck and drain you completely dry. Anybody got empathy number? Yo, let me get empathy number. What up, empathy?
It's a man, baby.
Let me holler at empathy. Evaporated milk one. I don't know what you're talking about. Next. Police. 2 teenagers accused of having threesome with teenage student. Look at the teenage students. Yeah! We did it, boys! I lost my virginity to 2 teachers at the same time. Let's go. Dude, this guy's walking with his chest out for the rest of his life. Teachers, they're going to prison for a long time, but he's loving life. Next. Peas. These are Guatemalan. They're trying to increase people's enjoyment of peas in Guatemala. So the advertisement campaign is peas. Taste the penis. The what? Taste the what? Damn.
Beta!
Taste the penis?
No, that doesn't work either.
I think I've actually done this meme before. I love this meme. Next. When you realize Leather World is not going to have the sofa you wanted. What?
Beta!
Do not go to Leather World, ladies and gentlemen, looking for a new couch. That boy got a dislocated from high-fiving his boys. Yeah. Look at this girl in the middle of Leather World. What did I just walk into? Next. Okay, here's what I know. Rib condoms don't taste like ribs at all. Says AOC. Shout out AOC. Next. No matter how I read this sign, I still have questions. Carpet your hole for only $99. Carpet for your only hole, $99. Carpet your hole for only $99. There's no way to read this where it makes any sense. Why am I putting carpet on my hole? And why is it so expensive? Next. Ant Vagina, original syrup. That's Big Mike. Oh, it says Ain't Vagina. Big Mike, Ain't Vagina, original syrup.
Dang.
It's a man, baby.
Beta. Next, ain't vagina. At the end of the day, Trump bangs this, Obama blows this, and Biden isn't sure who this is. Trump bangs this, dime piece. Obama gets blown by this, or blows this. Big Mike. Big Mike.
It's a man, baby.
And Biden thinks that this is his sister.
No, that doesn't work either.
Next. Nationalism versus globalism. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. There's Jill and Melania. Nationalism versus globalism. Which one do you want? Which cheeks do you like? The cheeks. Next. Counseling my girl after she said she had a long ass day. That's a long ass day. What the? Next. After buying new home with fundraiser proceeds, Carmela Anthony now considering killing another white teen so family can afford a summer place. Uh-oh. What the? Just don't let me run into this family on the playground. We're going to be making money, boys. If I run into this family on the playground. I've been broke my whole life. Now money right. We're about to... Michelle look fine in that photo. You crazy. You crazy. Next. Netflix original series, The Life of Stephen Hawking. What happened to dang Stephen? What happened to Stephen Hawking?
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Next. I told that boy no snacks before dinner, and just look at this. 3 Musketeers wrappers everywhere. He ate the 3 it's a dragon. He ate the 3 Musketeers. Dang. Next. Breakdancer, astronauts. Strong, independent women. Strong, independent women.
No, that doesn't work either. You ain't got the answers, man. I've been doing this more than you. You ain't been doing the education. Bro.
Okay, well, answer the question. And that's it, guys. That is it. For the all right. We need a better sound drop. All right. That's it for the memes. Some good memes this week. You think Michelle pegged Barack? Probably. I don't know. Maybe. Okay, we got a new little bit of a new segment this week. We're going to be looking in the comment section of some funny Facebook posts. We had some funny Facebook posts. We're going to be checking the comment section on them. We do have some funny reels first. All right. So here's one. Ready? This is funny. What? It says daughter 18, mom is 32. Also, this is weird, by the way, but 18-year-old daughter, 32-year-old mom shaking their butt on camera together. I'm going to be honest. Mom is well equipped compared to daughter, and mom looks whiter. There's dad. Dad's in jail. Wipe me down. Look, mom is thick. Mom got that fake booty. Look at dad. Wipe me down. Dad's in jail. What else? We got one more. What's this one? Oh, our boy's back.
Be what you want me to be. Feeling so fake.
I just freaking showed up. I'll have to edit that out. For some reason, it pulled up Bibby's. You didn't see anything except a name. So I'm going to have to go back and edit that out later. I don't know what you expecting to me. By the way, I subscribed to this dude. This dude's awesome. But under the pressure of walking in your
caught in the undertone.
Dude, he's got editing now. He's layering the tracks. He's got a background track. Dude, he's stepping up the production value here. Caught in the undertone. Caught in the undertone. Become so numb. Dang, why you want to be less like me? What'd I do to you? My boy, Michael. See, Michael's funny. All right, check it out. So this is checking the comment section segment. This is real. This is real. Look. This is from the Weather Channel, and I've seen this reported on by multiple weather agencies. Unless all the weather agencies are trolling us, all the meteorologists are trolling us. A rare jet stream pattern known as an omega block will bring a mix of rain, storms, snow, and temperature flip-flops across the country. And we've been seeing this in Utah. Like, it's raining, then it's snowing, then it's hot. But this is the weather system here. This is called an omega block. And let's look at the comments. Comments need to chill. I said weather pattern needs to chill. Weather pattern needs to chill. I sprained my ankle running to the comments. Looks like what the TSA sees on the body scan machines. With a pattern like that, there's bound to be flip-flops and sweatpants. Probably some chocolate and cursing. Lord, lift them up. This is the best yo mama joke hiding in plain sight. Me after nursing 2 kids for the last 5 years. Is it just me or in this pattern, or is it always the right one that's bigger for us ladies? It is the bigger one on the right. And now we know why it's Mother Earth. Storm looks like it's working 9 to 5. There's a chance for milk in the forecast. That's a double disaster. When your baby prefers one side over the other, the right one is always bigger than the left. Too bad Cleavage, Ohio isn't in the cleavage. There's a place called Cleavage, Ohio. The air could get a bit nippy. What in the mammary glands? This proves that one side is bigger than the other. Needed proof I'm not the only one who sees them. Looks like the weather is dropping. The Earth went for its annual mammogram. So the weather is going to booby trap us. Great. Looks more like the lactating block pattern to me. In other words, it's going to be wet. The comment section is wilding on this one. Thank you, Weather Channel, for giving us some content. We got one more comment section. So you know I get these chess stuff on my Facebook all the time. Check this out. So Uno reverse in chess. This is a 4-way fork. His knight has the queen, the king, the bishop, and the rook forked. Now, apparently this looks like a winning setup, but they actually lose. They actually lose the war. This side, the white side, loses the war in this one. But there's a lot of right angles in this move we got going here. Let's see what the comments had to say. Grandpa's Gambit was extremely efficient against Polish and French opponents. Needless to say, it was in Blitzschach. Black to king, checkmate, black wins. White played the Jew defense. White is screwed, bad move. Friendship windmill. It's the friendship windmill. Bro did the German gambit. This position should be called the swastika fork. He did not see it coming. That night would be like, Auf der Heide Blut, ein kleines Blumein, und das heißt Attica. Blitz chess. Only way to fall victim to Russian defense and French counter gambit. Is this the German attack? Hitler fork. Problem is they will still lose because they are overextended and left their king open. I was looking at this and I don't see how white loses. Like, but they're saying white loses this. My king is open. What do you? You're gonna want to. You're gonna have to move the king, which means I'm taking your queen. Then you take my knight. Then I can just like. I don't see why you lose. I would move this pawn forward. I don't know. It looks like a winning game for white. But anyway, that's that. Let's do some rapid fire news. 2 Florida hikers die after falling from cliff face in Utah. Crazy. I'm from Florida and I live in Utah. Bryce Canyon, 2 are dead after falling from a cliff face yesterday in Bryce Canyon. As local first responders are in the process of recovering their body. According to Garfield County Sheriff Matthew Nannon, 45, and Bailey Crane, 58, were hiking at a section of Bryce Canyon known as Inspiration Point. Well, they didn't get much inspiration. Sometime yesterday night or this morning, at some point, the hikers crossed over a guard railing and began to hike off the trail. Although it's currently unclear what led to it, the hikers fell from the cliff face. Maybe they did like a lover's jump together. The sheriff office reported that conditions have been stormy. Snow is present currently at the point. The bodies of both hikers were said to be of a man and a woman found the next day by tourists. They were doing a lover's jump. After their discovery, the tourists called the Park Service. So here's a picture of the cliff. Yeah, that's a bit of a cliff. That's a cliff right there. You fall off that, you ain't making it. I don't know. Interesting little local story. Trump executive order reinforces English-speaking rule for U.S. truck drivers. So if you're a truck driver, you got to speak English. Doesn't seem that crazy. President Trump signed an executive order Monday requiring federal authorities to enforce existing English proficiency rules for commercial truck drivers. The order highlights concerns that communication problems between drivers and officials pose a public safety risk. It directs the Department of Transportation to rescind previous guidance that softened enforcement and to issue stricter inspection procedures. And also, I know a lot of immigrants, and they like to go into trucking. For some reason, if you have a DUI from 20 years ago, you can't get a dang CDL without paying a whole bunch of extra money. But if you're an illegal immigrant, you can get a CDL real easy. And then they'll just let you do over-the-road trucking. I was looking into doing trucking. Will they do fast food places up north next? Everyone with ethnic names should have to change their name to John or Phil or something too. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. I know, Echo. We're about to go in a minute. Federal rule requiring truck drivers to read and speak English has been in place since 1970 under 49 CFR 391.11B2. It mandates that commercial drivers must be able to understand traffic signs, respond to officials. Yeah, you know, at the very minimum, you should know what the word stop means and how to say it in English. It's that word on the red signs. What, Echo? What, Echo? Just give me 40 more minutes. President Trump's new executive. Okay, enough of that. So, yeah, if you're a truck driver, you got to speak English. Pretty simple. Stranded man airlifted from Mount Fuji. This is awesome. CBS News. From CBS News. Stranded man airlifted from Mount Fuji, then rescued again days later after he returned to get his phone. So he's climbing Mount Fuji, and he was dying up there. Climber airlifted with altitude sickness from near the peak of Japan's Mount Fuji last week, returned to the slope and was rescued for a second time just 4 days later. Climber identified as 27-year-old Chinese student living in Japan. He made an emergency call on April 22nd and was airlifted after developing symptoms of altitude sickness, police said, adding that his climbing irons were also damaged. On Saturday, he returned to the mountains Fuji no Maya Trail, nearly 10,000 feet above sea level, to look for his cell phone and other belongings he left behind. Suzuka Prefectural Police said another climber found him there unable to move after he apparently got sick for a second time. He was suspected of having altitude sickness and was taken to the hospital. Okay, but all we want to know is, did he get his cell phone? Did he get his cell phone or not? If you're throwing up, do it out there. Oh, you're just licking your nuts. Yes. You'd have to find consensus what constitutes carrying capacity, and at the moment there really isn't anything like that. There really isn't any kind of effort to limit the number of visitors there. They don't even tell you in the article if he got his phone back or not. My man got choked out by the air. Dude sounds like a beta. Sounds expensive. Yeah, how much did Japanese taxpayers pay to send 2 rescue helicopters to save this guy so he could get his cell phone? And then we don't even know if he got his cell phone back. From Breitbart, judge orders suspect behind firebombing of Missouri Tesla released from federal custody. Federal judge ordered that the suspect behind the firebombing of a Tesla dealership in Kansas City, Missouri, be released from federal custody ahead of his... Ooh, Breitbart's being edgy. Breitbart does not care. Wait. Owen McIntyre? His upcoming court date. I just wanted to show you what this, the typical person who firebombs a Tesla, what they look like. This is Owen McIntyre. Apparently maybe currently a he, but on their way to becoming a she. Or maybe a she who's becoming a he. But regardless, this is your typical Tesla firebomber. This is what they look like. That's the only picture. Got released. Wow. And more local news. This is from Unicorn Riot. They're like an Antifa site. I have a video of this place. I call it Thug Block. They call it the Fleet Block. But basically there was this giant industrial building in downtown Salt Lake City that was basically vacant. It wasn't being used for anything. So around the whole building, they did murals of all the people killed by police. So you got Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, you got what's his name? Tyrone, Jamal, Javante, all of them. Some that you've never heard before, some local, some you've never heard before, but basically all the people who were brutalized and killed by police were on the walls of this building in murals. And I drove by it in an Uber the other day, and the Uber driver's like, what? That whole thing's gone. And I looked to the left. They tore this, and this is a huge block, and it's a huge building. They tore the whole thing down in like a day. It's gone. It's gone. And people are outraged, of course, because but this is an area where it's like an industrial area, and it's actually pretty close to where I work. It's like 2 blocks away, and a lot of homeless people in this area. And I've got a YouTube video where I'm walking by the building and I'm showing all the murals and I'm showing all the homeless people. It was a bad area. It was not nice. So they bought this whole block and they tore the whole thing down, and people are not happy about it. Say her name, Breonna Taylor. A process decades in the making, the Fleet Block will undergo an evolution in the coming years to advance access and opportunity for underrepresented residents, create a community gathering space for Salt Lakers. For years, this quickly growing part of downtown has been set aside for enhancements, but on-site contamination and infrastructure limitations just delayed that work. Following George Floyd's murder in 2020, murals depicting victims of negative police interactions and violence made the Fleet Block a gathering place to remember those lost. No, it became a drug corner. It's right by the Motel 6 where all the druggies sell dope and all the hookers go. And to protect racial injustice, the Fleet Block murals have been a catalyst to collective healing and social change in Salt Lake City. To respect and honor this history, from June 2021 through April 2022, Mayor Mendenhall Kami office worked with the families and loved ones of those memorialized by the murals to bring together art therapy and grief counseling. Feedback received through art therapy and grief counseling directly informed a formal recommendation letter to the mayors regarding future plans for the block, which will serve as an important roadmap, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so they tore this building down. They tore down Thug Block. Thug Block gone.
Today we are at the Salt Lake City police brutality murals, and that's like right in the middle of Salt Lake.
See how the building's boarded up? Did you see that? This whole building, any windows are boarded up. You can't, behind the sign, you can barely see it. See the way they're doing the shot? They don't want you to see that this place is boarded up and graffitied all over the place.
People on this wall were suffering mental health crises, physical health crises.
Bernardo Palacios, there's George Floyd. This is a local guy that got killed. They're always saying justice for Bernardo. Yeah, he looks like an upstanding citizen.
There's 29 faces that go around this building, and they're all police brutality victims. We all knew what happened to George Floyd. We all witnessed that 9 minutes. We all knew about Bernardo Palacios, who was shot at like 37 times, and it just happened right around the block. And then all of a sudden, like, faces started coming up, and these faces with names, and then, you know, the Mourn the Dead and Fight for the Living came up. And this whole building got covered in faces, and like
so see, it's a big like industrial building and it's a big block, and they're wiping the whole thing
like
out.
We don't know what happened. We don't know anything. All we know is that this is a city-owned building. Oh, you want to hold the flower? Okay, look at Cece. Cheese. We're here to basically say our goodbyes because the city has stated that this.
And there's a little library. They got a little library there. How have I never seen that? It must be around the other side. I never go down that way.
It's environmentally hazardous.
These are the little libraries where they're putting all the weird sex books for kids.
And that they have to demo this block. The city wrote an email to the families that as of the 9th.
And you see they're giving out coffee in here for all the homeless people. This whole block is
probably
all
would have
homeless
access
people.
to this space. And so our response was, okay, well, you know, the 8th is the day that we'll have our final vigil. We do a lot of like organizing here. We meet a lot of like really beautiful people here.
I think I was riding my scooter home from work when this was happening, because I saw them have tables set up and people were gathered, and I was like, I wonder what's going on here. Wonder if there's me in the video riding my scooter.
A lot of really important people come to this space. Like these loved ones
Keep
are
your eyes
so
out for
important,
somebody
and they've shaped
a white guy on a
whether Utah
scooter.
agrees with it or not. Like these faces and these stories are so powerful and impactful, and everybody needs to know who they are. And you know, one day Bobby's face came up. My cousin is Bobby Duckworth, and he was suffering a mental health crisis, and he complied with the officer's demands. And
Everybody having a mental health crisis.
the officer shot him 7 times.
I just want to see if I'm riding by on my
Someone texted
scooter.
me and said, hey, did you know something terrible, gorgeous thought about him? Because like you're standing and like a memorial.
Yeah.
This is pretty, huh?
It is. They did a real, it's, I guess the actual artist did it.
I think so, yeah.
That's what they were saying at the table.
I'll show you because you got the camera.
He and his friends hanging out at some point, I'm assuming he just sure loved someone that was, because that.
Anyway, I just want to see if I'm riding by on a dang scooter. See, they had these things out there. Dude, I'm gonna ride by.
This is just a fraction of people, and this is 29.
Like, get out of my way,
like
people! I'm scooting.
And
look, they tore it down in like 2 days. They tore the whole thing down. She gone. All right. Anyway, enough of that. All right, guys, that's it for the news. We got like 30 minutes left. We're going to talk about a little theology, a little bit of theology here. So, I heard about this concept. We're going to talk about something called Sensus Divinitatis. And I'm wondering if you guys believe we have it, if it's real or not. But I heard about this concept through Alex O'Connor making a list of good arguments for God. Alex O'Connor is an atheist. And why are you retracting all your own messages? I can't stand when people do that. Don't type it if it's something you need to retract. If you're going to retract it, you shouldn't have typed it. It's not like you're talking and you just say something dumb and you have to say, oh, my bad, I said something dumb. It's typing. You're like thinking about it while you're doing it. Jeez. All right. Sensus Divinitatis. I heard about this from Alex O'Connor. He was talking about arguments for God's existence. And one of the arguments he gave was Sensus Divinitatis, which is a sense of the divine. We find that in ancient civilizations, in different races, different cultures, anywhere you go in the world, all over the world, seems that people have a sense for the divine. Like people, it's a story as old as time. It doesn't matter what race it is, doesn't matter what their culture is, where they are. People are always seeking God or gods, higher powers, the divine. They're always thinking it. There's always some sort of connection. How does speech to text work with Josh's voice in the background? I'm using speak to text. I still don't think before I put what's in my head out there. It's a curse. What the? Need to delete that comment then. Stop doing that. Anyway, so everybody has a sense of the divine. So I had heard this expression and I was like, I think that's true. I believe it. I believe that we do have a sense of the divine. Everybody does. That we're innately born with this connection to God. Hey, somebody sent a super chat? Who sent the super chat? It says I have $2, but it's not showing me. Well, whoever sent the super chat, thank you. Let me open this up real quick. So I started looking into this, and I did not know beforehand that this was actually from John Calvin. I know everybody always likes to. We got to put labels on everybody, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're a Calvinist. You're Calvinist adjacent." Blah blah blah. I didn't even know this came from John Calvin. Until I started looking into it. So, Sensus Divinitatis is Latin for a sense of divinity, also referred to as sensus dietatis, or a sense of deity, or semen religionis, which means seed of religion. Get your minds out of the gutter, guys. We're just reading the Wikipedia first, and then we'll read from God Answers, and then Reformed epistemology. So we're going to get a basic secular worldview answer on this question. Then we're going to get a extreme evangelical, young earther, biblical, sola scriptura, Christian version of it. And then we're going to get a more Orthodox / Catholic opinion of what it means, for some balance here. And then we'll watch some videos. But Jonathan Edwards, the 18th century American Calvinist preacher and theologian, claimed that while every human being has been granted the capacity to know God, a sense of divinity, successful use of these capacities requires an attitude of true benevolence. Divinitatis, analytic professor Alvin Plantinga, so Plantinga is a little name drop, of the University of Notre Dame, posts a similar modified form of the Sensus Divinitatis in his Reformed epistemology, whereby all have the sense, only it does not work properly in some humans due to sin's noetic effects. Noetic effects, that's referring to Noah, from Greek concept of classical philosophy, sometimes equated to intellectual or intelligence, for the faculty of the human mind necessary for understanding what is true or real. Noetic, sin's noetic effects. So what? You get too intellectual and you lose your. So what Plantinga is posing is that you get to your sin makes it so where your intellect takes over, and then that overpowers your sense of the divine. And then I kind of think maybe I agree with that, with Plantinga here, that because you do see atheists, they start digging into the Bible and they get too intellectual about it, and they're like, well, this is a contradiction, and blah, 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 and big words and stuff. And that intellectual pursuit of a spiritual reality it could lead some people down a bad path. It could lead some people straight to atheism. Some people, it leads them deeper into the faith if they're smart people. But some people get too into the intellectual pursuit and it takes them away from God, and then they lose their sensus divinitatis, which is what Plantinga poses. Roman Catholic theologian Karl Rahner proposed an innate sense or pre-apprehension of God, which has been noted to share elements in common with Calvin's Sensus Divinitatis. This concept of innate knowledge of God is similar to the Islamic concept of fitra. Fitra, Arabic word that means original disposition, natural constitution, or innate nature. The concept somewhat resembles natural order in philosophy, although there are considerable differences. This is a fitra. So Calvin calls it sensus divinitatis. Plantinga agrees with it, but slightly changes it. Karl Rahner, innate sense or pre-apprehension of God. Neo-Calvinists, who appear to the presuppositionalist school of Christian apologetics, sometimes appeal to sensus divinatis to argue that there are no genuine atheists. See, this is how I learned about it, is about arguments against atheism. We talked a little bit about it when I did my Arguments for God series. We went through all the different arguments for God. This sensus divinitatis that we see all over the world religious writings and deities in all these different cultures, and a lot of them match up. A lot of them have a lot of similarities that they share. Criticisms. Philosopher Evan Fales presents three arguments against the presence of Sensus Divinitatis: the divergence of claims and beliefs, lack of reliability even within Christian sects. Yeah, but still, that just because people have different ideas, that doesn't disprove the sense of the divine. It actually proves that even though they disagree, even though they're completely different cultures and completely different areas that have no communication with each other, they're still seeking the divine. I think that proves the sense of the divine. The lack of demonstrably superior morality of Christians versus non-Christians. I don't know what that has to do with Sensus Divinitatis. We're saying everybody has it. Well, unless you're taking Plantinga's model, which is that sinners lose it. Sinners lose the sense of the divine. But it's not so much sinners as intellectual pursuits will lead you away from it. JS has, oh my goodness. You were the one who said you would. What? Oh, whatever. If my friend gets bit by a snake, shut up. Bible verses accepted by most Christians as authored by men, inspired by the Holy Spirit, presumably with a functioning sensus divinitatis in which God performs, commands, accepts, or countenances rape, genocide, human sacrifice, pestilence to punish David for taking a census, killing David's infant to punish him, hatred of family, capital punishment for breaking a monetary promise, and so on. So they're saying since there's some mean things in the Bible, that means we don't have a sense of the divine. I don't know how any of his arguments disprove sensus divinitatis. He more has a problem with the Christian God, and his arguments are against the Christian God. That's not what the sense of the divine is about. The sense of the divine is saying that everyone, everywhere, is born knowing that there's something else out there. A sense of the divine. We have a sense of the divine. He's making it just about Christians. Let's see what God Answers has. Sensus divinitatis is the natural capacity of human beings to perceive God. This concept primarily associated with the writings of John Calvin, but it's also seen in the work of modern philosophers such as Alvin Plantinga. Typically, the sensus divinitatis is portrayed in parallel to other senses such as sight or hearing. As sight exists to provide experiences regarding light and hearing exists to provide experiences regarding sound, the sensus divinitatis exists to provide experiences regarding God. According to Scripture, all people have some means of perceiving that God exists. Romans 1:19 and 20 says, "For what can be known about God is plain to them, because God has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world, and the things that have been made, so they are without excuse." I should have used that when Stepfire asked me how I can know things without free will. Because God said so. It's pretty simple. It's really not that complicated. I knew the things that I know before the beginning of the earth. Before the earth was ever created, I knew everything that I know already. Yup. Does that sound crazy? Certain theologians ascribe this awareness to the combination of empirical senses and intellect. Psalms 14:1, "The fool says in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They do abominable deeds. There is none who does good." Psalms 19:1, "The heavens declare the glory of the God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork." Others view it as a generic impulse or desire. As used by Calvin and Plantinga, however, the sensus divinitatis is an innate, direct perception of God. This would suggest our sense of God is not merely parallel to other empirical evidence. Rather, it would make belief in the existence of God just as rational and just as basic as belief in what we see with our eyes or hear with our ears. The strongest version of the sensus divinitatis idea implied that people know God exists, a concept not without its own controversy, however. Even that extreme is distinct from the idea that belief in God is entirely independent of reason or evidence. Such an approach, known as fideism, is it fideism or fideism? It's not going to let me click it. Implies that empirical observations and intellect are unable to provide meaningful faith. I think it's fideism, Fideism. The standard concept of sensus divinitatis posits that we possess a sense of God in addition to, not in spite of, other evidences. Proponents of the sensus divinitatis note that the overwhelming majority of people throughout history have held some belief in the supernatural. This includes those in pervasively secular cultures and even those who reject organized faith or specific religions. That is to say, a vanishingly small proportion of humanity rejects absolutely all concepts of spiritual or supernatural reality. And that's the point there, is that when people try to debunk this, they'll focus on the Christian God. It's not just about the Christian God. It's saying that all people have some sort of innate sense of the divine. And you can cloud it the same way, if I punch myself in the eyeball repeatedly, it's going to damage my vision. The same way, if I wear really loud headphones all the time, or I work in a place where there's really loud noises all the time, that will damage my hearing. In the same way, you could damage your sense of the divine. You can cloud your sense of the divine by researching into things to debunk God. Like if all you're doing is an intellectual pursuit to science and atheism and I hate God, and your emotions cloud it and your intellect clouds it, and pretty soon you lose your sense of the divine. If you don't use it, you lose it. Continuing to parallel the empirical senses, proponents suggest this near universal sense of God, or sense of the spiritual, ought not be dismissed as a figment of the imagination. Those without this sense of God would then be comparable to those with congenital or acquired blindness. Acquired blindness. A question arises concerning alternative perceptions of the divine. In theory, one could claim belief in Hinduism, Islam, or Wicca is supported by this same innate knowledge of the spiritual realm. Philosophers such as Calvin would counter that part of the sensus divinitatis is distinguishing between true and false concepts of God. Just as properly functioning... Okay, so Calvin would say... So this is maybe where I would disagree with Calvin. I agree that we all do have a sense of the divine. Now, maybe some people's... Then you get to the geological argument against God, which is that you're more likely to become a Christian if you're born in America. You're more likely to become a Hindu if you're born in India. Why would God set it up that way? This is the geographic argument against God. And I would say they both have a sense of the divine, but then their cultures and those things is what influences them to believe in one God or another. And then their sense of divine is not able to discern between true and false. Calvin says that if it's truly a sense of the divine, you should be able to separate the true God from the false God. But we don't see that. So maybe he's taking it a little too far there. Maybe it's not that, it doesn't function in that way. I'm saying that we're just born knowing that there's something else out there. Finding what it is going to be up to God. Like if it's more likely I'm going to become a Christian, if Christianity is true and the God of Abraham is the true God, and you're more likely to be born in to become a Christian and find God if you are born in America, I would just say it was God's plan that I was born in America. Like, You know, it's not that complicated. Everything is God's plan. If the elect are more likely to be born in America, then more elect are going to be born in America or wherever Christianity is popular at that time. There's no other, or they're born in China and a missionary shows up and talks to them, and that's all part of the plan. So he's saying we all have an innate psychic link with God. Nah, I think that's maybe taking it too far. He's just saying we have a sense that there is a God. Maybe Calvin is saying that. He's saying that not only do we have an innate connection with God, but we can tell fake gods from real gods. But so then why do some people still end up going with Baal or Belial or freaking Shiva or Hindu or whatever? And he would say that their sinful nature clouded their sensus divinitatis. See, that's where it kind of loses me. I think, I don't know. He's attributing a little too much power to this sensus divinitatis. The plan, like the Pharaoh says, follow the plan. Christians can agree to disagree about whether the sensus divinitatis exists or if it provides legitimate evidence for God. Whether human perception of God is a distinct inborn faculty of the mind or the net effect of our other senses is ultimately irrelevant. What is beyond argument is that God leaves no excuse for ignorance of his existence. We all have the duty to glorify and thank God. Okay, let's watch a couple short videos about this. Actually,
God has revealed himself through his creation, and Psalm 19:1 and 2 and Romans 1:18 make this very clear. But in Romans 1:19, we have something interesting, what in Christian theology we call the sensus divinitatis, from the Latin phrase meaning a sense of the divine. And in Romans 1:19, it says that which is known about God is evident within them, for God made it evident to them. And this means that...
Oh, listen to that. How can you know God if you... Never mind.
Within each person, there is an intuitive awareness, a sense that God exists. Now, for the person who wants to know God, God will provide special revelation concerning the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ, that they might believe upon him and have eternal life. But for the person who is negative to God, they will suppress that truth in unrighteousness. But it is not for want of information, because that which is known about God is evident within them, for God himself has made it evident to them.
That's deep.
Calvin in his Institute set forth...
This guy got a dang slideshow.
The sensus divinitatis is a Latin phrase that refers to the innate sense of divinity. That is, that Calvin argued that all men possess an intuitive awareness of God. To cite Calvin from his Institutes of the Christian Religion, he says there is within the human mind, and indeed by natural instinct, an awareness of divinity. At another place he says there is no nation so barbarous, no race so brutish, as not to be imbued with the conviction that there is a God. Since then there never has been, from the very first, any quarter of the globe, any city, any household even, without religion. This amounts to a tacit confession that a sense of deity is inscribed on every heart. And then probably Calvin's clearest citation, where he says, men of sound judgment will always be sure of this, that a sense of divinity which can never be effaced is engraven upon human minds. Even the recalcitrants of the impious, even though they struggle furiously, are unable to extricate themselves from the fear of God, is abundant testimony that this conviction that God exists is naturally inborn in all, and is fixed deep within, as it were, in the very marrow. The scriptural teaching for Calvin's teaching on the sensus divinitatis is set forth in several places. The first one would be Genesis 1:26 and 27, which sets forth what is called the imago Dei, that is, that man is made in the image of God.
If this is true, how do you explain furries? Satan is their daddy.
A sense of awareness of his creator. 2, God has set eternity in the heart of every person, so that he thinks about God and things eternal, and this is taken from Ecclesiastes 3:11.
Oh, they worship a God. They have a sense of the divine. It's just the divine feminine.
And the third and probably strongest scriptural support is found in Romans 1:18-20, which says God is evident within all mankind and clearly seen through what has been made. To quote Romans 1:18-20, and this is the Apostle Paul who writes, he says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth in unrighteousness." And just a quick point here, it's not that there's anything wrong with the truth as God has revealed it, it's that men suppress the truth. Verse 19, "Because that which is known about God is evident within them, for God made it evident to them." That is, there is an intrinsic or an intuitive knowledge within mankind that God exists. For again, quoting verse 19, "Because that which is known about God is evident within them."
This is really quiet.
To them. Verse 20, "For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood through what has been made, so that they are without excuse."
Okay, he's just reading a lot of the same stuff I already read, but that's Dr. Stephen Cook. And then I'm just going to read this. From Cambridge University, Alvin Plantinga theorizes the existence of a sensus divinitatis, a special cognitive faculty. I think that's a typo. I think it's supposed to say faculty. A special cognitive faculty or mechanism dedicated to the production and non-inferential justification of theistic belief. Following Chris Tucker, we offer an evidentialist-friendly model of the sensus divinitatis, whereon it produces theistic seemings that non-inferentially justify theistic belief. We suggest that the sensus divinitatis produces these seemings by tacitly grasping support relations between the content of ordinary experiences in conjunction with our background evidence and propositions about God. Our model offers advantages such as eliminating the need for a sui generis religious faculty, harmonizing the sensus divinitatis with prominent theories in the cognitive science of religion, and providing superior account of natural revelation. What is sui generis? Something the beginning. Sui generis, the nature of animals. So we don't have the nature of animals. Or is that our nature, class by itself in his or her own kind? Unique. Sui generis. Anyway, so I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe we could talk about it in a panel later. Do we have a sense of the divine? Is this just some made-up philosophical, theological gobbledygook? Or do you think that we are all born with a inherent sense of the divine, and that maybe over time the world corrupts us and pulls us away from that, and it gets clouded? I think we do. I lean towards we do have it. We are born with a sense of the divine, and that over time, in a lot of people, it will be clouded, or emotion will make you completely reject it. You'll still have it, but you'll reject it. You'll turn against it. But yeah, I first heard about that in arguments against atheism, and I think it's a good argument against atheism that all over the world we're always seeing different cultures and different people. They're always seeking some sort of God, some sort of more powerful divine deity or force outside of themselves, outside of the universe, outside of the physical world, outside of time. People are always seeking this. Wherever you go, whenever you go, all throughout time. So I think we do have a sense of the divine, a sensus divinitatis. And that's what that is. I'm about out of time. Before I go, I got to do something. I'm going to try. All right, we got to get more viewers on the chair stream than everybody else has on their streams. I'm just going to reuse a Fight Night stream. Or I'm going to reuse one of these. Uno with The boys. Uno with the boys. Change the thumbnail. Oh, we got that old thumbnail up. Uno with the boys. Chat requested share stream in the description. We're going to start this at 8:50. And then I'm going to try to set up the raid to my own stream. Just go outside and yell the N-word so you don't have to work anymore. Easy 800K. I know. I know. I'm going to go to the most hood playground I can find. All right. Now, I think I can... Should be able to go live here. Okay, both are live at the same time right now. Ain't that an hour from now? 8:50? No. It's 8:50 right now. All right. I'm going to end this stream and raid you guys over to the chair stream. And then once I'm in there, I will set up the Discord. But thank you guys for hanging out for the Monday night show, Dreaded Conservative show. Monday night, kicking the week off right. The world's a crazy place. I just report on it. Whoever sent me $2, thank you for the super chat. It must have, maybe it was before the stream even started because it's not showing up in my things. But we're going to go to the chair stream. I'm going to leave the Discord open. And you guys can hang out and talk in there all night. The Discord chatting rooms are locked, though. So you're going to need to be known since I'm not there. If any new people come up that we don't know, just sorry. I almost want to make this a members-only thing, but maybe in the future we could do that. Members-only chair streams, but... See, why is this not the real thumbnail? This is not the thumbnail. It didn't put the real thumbnail up. That's weird. Hold on a second. Oh, it did it. It did there. Huh. That's weird. I sent you the screenshot. The $2 was from C-Sal. Okay. Thank you, C-Sal. Thank you, C-Sal. All right, I'm going to end this and send you over there, and then I'm going to get all that Discord stuff set up, and then I got to get out of here. I got to go to work. You'll be rated over there later, guys. My super